Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. And once again, I start my video and my throat's not clear. That's not very professional, is it? Sorry. I wanted to start the video today with this tweet from Nick Burafeto from Link2, because they're doing something really cool. They're doing what's called a reverse auction. And so they've got a block of Ripple shares, private equity, and they're going to start at 8 a.m. Pacific time. The price will be reduced by $1 per share and then drop $1 per share every hour until the entire lot is sold out. This should be fun to watch today. So I'm going to be logging in and see how this all unfolds. I would be shocked if it doesn't go pretty darn quick. I'm sure there's some people watching it. Okay, now and I'll put a link in the top of the description of this video if you want to go to Link2 and check out what's going on there. Now, the big news that's going on right now is John Deaton has dropped, he's sent this letter to Annalisa Torres. It's about seeking leave to file amicus brief regarding opinions of SEC expert Patrick B. Doody. Now, I think that this guy is going to be really famous here shortly. And I think a lot of people out here are probably going to be looking into who exactly this guy is. But this is apparently one of their expert witnesses. And I saw the stuff going around about John having sent this letter, and I was a bit confused about what exactly it was about. And then I listened to, last night, Link2 had a round table, and I was popping in and out of the thing. Digital Perspectives was popping in and out of the thing, but I was in the middle of doing some things. And, okay, I'm watching some news come across. All right. And so, anyway, I was able to clip this out. This is John himself explaining what he did. And it's important that you understand this, because I think it's a pretty big bombshell that John's dropped.
Well, right now we're in the motions are being written. Obviously, yesterday, I'm sure most people have discovered by now or seen that I filed a motion letter with the judge asking for permission to participate in the Daubert briefing. To bring everybody up to speed, basically the judge set a calendar that Daubert motions were to be filed July 12th, and responses by each party would be August 15th, and then summary judgments would be September, and replies in December. What Daubert relates to expert witnesses, and Daubert is from a famous U.S. Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court adopted what the standard is for allowing expert witnesses to testify. And the bottom line is, when you have a Daubert motion, what you're doing is you're challenging the ultimate opinions of the expert, because their methodology, how they derived at that expert opinion, is flawed. And so basically you're going into court and saying, Judge, this particular expert should be completely disqualified because they don't have the requisite qualifications, or this particular part of their testimony should not be accepted by the court because it is so deeply flawed. So that's what a Daubert motion is. And I'm only talking about what's on the public record. So just officially, I'm not going to divulge any private conversations I've had that's not part of the public record. So that's why I'm able to do this now. But and then what I mean by the public record is the motion and the exhibits that I filed yesterday. But the bottom line is, I sent letters that are now exhibits to my motion to the SEC and to Ripple saying, hey, I may need to participate in the Daubert motion or with summary judgment, and here are some potential relevant issues, to get some feedback from them. Are they willing to agree that I could view non-public information? So as amicus counsel, I'm not privy to all the stuff unless it's filed publicly. So for example, the Hinman deposition. The people on this call have seen exactly what I've seen. I haven't seen the unredacted versions of the Hinman deposition because I'm not a party. All right. And so basically, in requesting information, I found out that there's this expert witness that the SEC is using, and his name is Patrick Doody, Doody. And he's basically offering opinions similar to what he did in the Telegram case. Is basically he's going to say that XRP holders, and I haven't seen his report, so this is a bit of me speculating, but I'm pretty accurate, I believe. He's going to say that XRP holders, when they purchased XRP and acquired XRP, they were relying on the promises and inducements of Ripple. And that's the reason they acquired the XRP. So I believe that Patrick Doody is being used by the SEC to try to establish that even secondary market XRP, not people who bought it directly from Ripple, but when you go on Coinbase or Uphold or Kraken and you buy XRP in the secondary market.
Hold on. Okay, I had a little domestic problem there. So anyway, let's continue. This is where it gets really good. John's going to make a prediction here. If I can get it to play, that is.
In the secondary market that you bought it relying on Ripple. Now, we all know that a lot of people, they heard the name Ripple because it used to be called XRP, but they purchased and acquired XRP without knowing about the company Ripple. And so basically, I found that out. I asked the SEC and Ripple would they agree to share his report with me. Ripple said yes, because the SEC didn't name it listed confidential. As soon as the SEC found that out, they objected and then labeled it confidential immediately. And so I went to the judge saying, basically, in addition to the summary judgment motions, I should be able to participate on behalf of XRP holders in this motion, that there's no more relevant maybe motion. If this guy is going to get up here and say what we believed or relied on, we should be able to participate and give her our perspective. So that's basically in a nutshell what the big filing was yesterday. And, it's not the end of the world if the judge denies it, because, we've given her the information. But, for example, in my letter, I explained to her that I have served Ripple and the SEC with 3,252 affidavits, basically from XRP holders in multiple categories. I've collected these affidavits from XRP holders, in the last months, and they say things that are just basic truth, right? But a judge might not know. For example, there's an affidavit that says, hey, I staked my XRP and I acquired a interest on it, and I didn't need Ripple to do that, right? So that takes you out of the Howie factor of relying on the efforts of the other. Or I collateralized my XRP for a fiat loan. Well, there's a financial benefit without Ripple. Turns out when you add up all the percentages, the majority of first-time acquirers of XRP were unaware of the company Ripple. So, hence, if you're unaware of a company called Ripple, how could you rely on promises and inducements from that company? So,
this is where he makes his prediction. This is kind of interesting.
Very relevant to challenge this guy. I predict that this expert gave his opinion and didn't interview one XRP holder. That's my prediction. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but that's my prediction. So that's where we're at in the case.
Sounds like John has a hunch about something. And then Jeremy Hogan weighed in on it here. He says John's marching to court. SEC wants expert witnesses to give testimony about XRP holders, what they were thinking when they bought XRP. Now, here's where Jeremy kind of explains what's going on from his point of view. Deaton wants to file a brief in the Daubert motion related to an expert hired by the SEC to discuss the motives of XRP purchasers. This means the Ripple is trying to strike the witness altogether because his opinion and no reasonable scientific basis. It's a big motion because the SEC is relying on an expert to say that reasonable XRP purchasers bought XRP relying on Ripple to increase its price. And the expert is stricken. How does the SEC prove its case, especially if Ripple has 100 XRP holders saying otherwise? So this is what's going on, and I thought that it was, when I first heard about this thing, I was trying to get my mind around it. And so to have John, I thought it was important to put that clip of John talking about it and put that together with Jeremy Hogan. Some of this stuff you can get pretty deep in the weeds. Now, Warren Davidson tweeted this out yesterday, I believe. This must be fully exposed by the House majority in 2023. See, and this is why I keep saying, well, Warren Davidson, yeah, you're not in the majority right now, but you can call for things. You just did right here. So when it comes to the Durham report and everything, Warren Davidson is doing exactly what we've been asking him to do with regard to the Ethereum free pass and the disguised whales. All he's got to do, one tweet would suffice, one tweet like this. John Deaton replies to him and says, Congressman, I believe oversight committees need to be very busy next year. Gary Gensler has a lot to answer for his conduct at the SEC, his role as CFO for this person's name that I don't say on this channel, and the payments made for made up opposition research. Okay, so, but my point here is that if Warren Davidson's going to call for this, that how they need to expose this, why is he not calling for the SEC and all these people around the Ethereum free pass to be exposed? Because there's something here too. All right. Now, moving along, speaking of, okay, so think about this for a minute. The SEC gave Ethereum a free pass. Now, and that was as Jay Clayton walked out the door, in comes Gensler. Now, listen to what Wheezy found here. So Gensler was working at MIT. He tells you right here in this clip that Consensus was working with MIT where he was. And that's the same company that's around the Ethereum thing that was meeting with the SEC before the Ethereum free pass. And you think this doesn't need to be investigated? Listen.
We have a initiative, and we stand these up at MIT from time to time. We have an initiative where 12 financial firms have funded a group called FinTech at the Computer Science and AI Lab. And it's a way a group of companies to jointly fund sponsored research. And it's kind of interesting. We were able in our first year to work with these dozen companies from around the globe. I mean, they range from Citibank to Consensus.
Yeah, Gary's not conflicted or anything. Check this out. This is Hester Pierce on Bloomberg yesterday.
We've done disclosure regulation, and so it's something new.
One issue that is pressing right now, I'm not sure if you do have the time to really put it off, and that is regulation of cryptocurrency, or perhaps more specifically stablecoins, given what we saw just last week. Where does that sit from your point of view? What should the SEC be doing and when?
I think you're right to focus on that. Crypto is an area where I've been calling for us to take steps to regulate the market, to put out clear rules around what people need to do. Stable coins may or may not be within our bailiwick. Of course, facts and circumstances matter, but it's something that Congress has been looking at, and so Congress may well weigh in, and I think the events of last week are likely to encourage them to work more quickly on it.
You're one member of the commission, but an important member of the commission. From your point of view, though, personally, though, do you have a sense of the jurisdictional divisions, for example, between the SEC on the one hand and CFTC on the other when it comes to cryptocurrency stablecoins?
Well, I think some of those things are unclear, and so that's why congressional input would be quite helpful. There are certainly areas where we should be acting, where our regulated entities, broker-dealers, for example, investment advisors want to interact with crypto, and that's somewhere where we could be providing regulatory clarity.
One thing that's very much in the news, we cover it almost every day on Bloomberg, whether we like it or not, is Elon Musk and Twitter. And I'm not going to ask you to take any position, that's a pending issue. But this is my question almost as a lawyer. here. What is the jurisdiction of the SEC right now over that transaction? I mean, what are you responsible for? What are you not responsible for?
I mean, we're a disclosure regulator. So when a transaction like that is happening, we'll look at the disclosures and make sure that they're in line with our rules. And that's just a standard. When a transaction like that is happening, we'll look at the disclosures and make sure that they're in line with our rules. And that's just a standard role that we play. We're not a merit regulator. We don't look at the merits of transactions like that.
The chair, Gary Gensler, has been testifying about the need for appropriations. And my understanding is one of the priorities is enforcement. Do you agree with him? You need more resources for enforcement?
Well, we always can have more resources to do more things, but again, we're a regulatory agency, and enforcement is a key part of what we do, but we need to be writing clear rules. I would actually put more resources on the regulatory and compliance side. That's where I think we need resources.
So that was a shot at Gary Gensler right there, because he's the one that's trying to beef up the enforcement instead of providing any kind of clear rules. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that Hester apparently doesn't get along with Gary Gensler. Thanks for listening.